Hey, check.
Check.
Yeah, you're on. Welcome back to the Small Business Lover podcast. So, we did take a week off. I needed a break. We had a crazy weekend this past weekend.
Exactly.
Uh, so, we're back. And we're back with Chantelle
Yay.
from Jarred Up.
Yes, so I'm Chantelle, but you could call me CK. I'm the owner of Jarred Up by CK, so I do like cake jars and desserts. I've been here at Local Gem Collective for over a year, pretty much since Jasmine opened up her first store. And ever since then, I've been growing my business alongside with Jasmine and then just overall in Orange County.
Yeah, so you're an OG.
Yes.
You're actually the last vendor that joined from the first round.
Yeah,
Because I
pretty
remember,
much.
right?
Yeah.
Everything was set, and you're like, hey, I have this little fridge.
Right.
I want to set it up. I
Yeah.
was like, okay. I remember we
Right.
did another collective together, but we never met.
Yeah.
But I would always see your fridge.
R.I.P.
I know. We could talk about that.
Urban Market.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Gosh.
We'll give them the tea.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy you joined. Seriously.
I'm so happy too. Honestly, I love being a part of Local Gem, but like specifically like having you as the owner just it makes it so much better, you guys. Like if you have a business, join join Local Gem because honestly, we couldn't have a better owner at
Thank
this
you.
boutique. So of course.
Thank you. I actually take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah,
And
you should.
my experience, like there was one collective that just kills it like every time. Like they can't miss. It's called the
Right.
Open Market.
Okay.
And
In Irvine,
they're
Huntington. Yeah.
everywhere. That was my first experience in a collective, so I
Mhm.
was kind of spoiled because I'm like, oh, okay, this one's great. They all have to be
Yeah,
great.
they're big too. I remember
Yeah.
them, they used to have one at Main Place
Hmm.
in the department
That was the
store.
first one I
Yeah,
joined.
that was huge.
I was so proud. I had like a little 3x5. Okay, so was Urban Market your first one?
Yeah, Urban Market was my first one. When was that? Like 2022
Hmm.
or 23? I can't even remember.
I think it all went down in like 2022.
Yeah, 2022, and then I left in 2023. Fall, because you opened 2024. Yeah, those are the days.
I just remember walking in there and I'm like, this really has so much potential, but it's not giving anything.
Right.
But at that time, the open market had closed, and I had all of these things. I'm like,
Yeah,
I can't get stuck with all this inventory.
right.
And it was a good experience, like in the beginning.
Yeah. Just in the beginning, like just maybe like the first few months, it really just depends on the owner.
It was Westminster. That was the first one I joined in the old
Yes.
Hollister.
Okay.
And then they moved,
Oh yeah,
remember?
downstairs. Brigham Mall too.
Yes.
That's right.
It was just so much. And I remember moving, and it was like, okay, guys, we're moving.
Yeah.
And there was like zero consideration for
Right.
anybody. It was like, no, we're moving this weekend, so you have to move.
Right. Well, that was his problem. He didn't consider vendors at all. Like when he closed down the Westminster one in November, I think it was like 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. He
Hmm.
was like, you guys all have to be out before Thanksgiving. And after November, if you don't get your stuff out after Thanksgiving, then you have to contact the mall to come into the store. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, who does that to their
I
vendors?
know.
And then, like, on top of that, we were all, or at least not for me, but many vendors were missing payout checks, like hundreds of dollars that is still not in their pocket and it will
Yeah.
never be.
So you did Urban Market, and then before
Yeah.
that, was it just pop-ups?
So I've been doing pop-ups since 2021. So it's been a while. So I first started at a super, super small pop-up. It was, I think, like 6 vendors. And I was at my friend's aunt house in her little driveway in Anaheim. Shout out to Linda if you're
I
watching
love
this. She gave me the opportunity to do my very first pop-up at her house, and I did very well. And then ever since then, I think 2021 was when that was like the year of like pop-ups
Yeah.
that started. Like all these markets started to show up and get going. So ever since then, it was pop-up based. And then after I graduated in 2022 from Cal State Fullerton, I started joining farmers markets. So it's
Mm.
like a combo of both. I love being a pop-up bakery. It's really fun. Stressful, but really fun.
It's amazing that you and along with other small businesses
Mhm.
have literally created something out of nothing.
Yeah,
You've
thank you.
created like full-time employment for yourself. I know
Yes,
that you just hired staff not
yes,
long
yes.
ago. So not only are you kind of killing it,
Thank you.
but you're creating opportunities for
Others,
different
yeah.
people.
Thank you.
No, it's amazing.
There was no plan for me either. When I decided to go full time in this, I was still working at my friend's bakery. If you're watching this, shout out to Sally. Sally, I worked at her bakery for about 2 years and I've learned so much just from her. So like she's an inspiration for me. I love her. And then towards just the end of 2022, I started to think like, I kind of just wanted to start doing pop-ups and seeing if I could actually start something out of it. And so I ended up leaving her bakery and just strictly doing pop-ups. And it was freaking scary. Like, I'm not gonna lie, just like not having consistent income.
Right.
It's still scary, like now. Like, I just can't believe, like, oh, like I'm not actually working for anyone anymore. It's like it's up to me to make the money for the business, make money for myself. And yeah, I feel like when everyone starts, no one has a plan. Like, I don't even know what I'm doing, like, honestly, a lot of the time. We don't know. We just go with the
Yeah,
flow and
for
learn as
sure.
we go. And that's just how it is. Like, I feel like everyone starts their business, like, they just get thrown into it somehow, whether it's by choice or not by choice. And we just figure it out along the way.
Isn't it funny how people like look at your Instagram and they're like, "Oh my God, you made it. You're killing it." And
Yeah.
like the reality of the whole situation is like you're just seeing the highlights. You're seeing my
Right.
highlight reel. You don't
Right.
know like
The
the struggles
behind,
of
yeah.
the everyday life.
It really is, yeah.
And there is this immense amount of pressure
Hmm.
because you don't talk to somebody.
Right.
So like when you're like, okay, I have a question, shit, you don't have a boss.
Right.
Like you
No.
have to, it's up to you.
Us and the internet.
Yeah, like it's
YouTube.
us and Google and ChatGPT against the
Yeah,
world.
really is, honestly, because I still have questions to this day. I'm like, how to do this, how to do that. And like as much as I knew a lot about like my baking products, but like the business side of things, oh my God, like the numbers, the taxes, like pricing, all of that is such a pain. Like I'm not gonna lie, it's still a pain to
Yeah.
this day. Because like as you know, like ingredient prices, like eggs, everything is just skyrocketing right now. So any business, all businesses should be pivoting right now because of course when like things go up like we have to adjust, but it's also like a pain to like have to keep track of every little thing to the penny. So it's a lot, but I think like as the years go by you start to get like the hang of it.
Yeah.
Honestly, there's this baking app that I use
Okay.
that also helps me. I always recommend to bakers. It's called Bake Cost. So what I do is I just input like if I wanted to make a dozen of like vanilla cake jars with a certain topping, I would list all the ingredients in the app and then the pricing and then break down to how many cake jars it would make. And then it would tell me how much it cost per jar to make. And then you add like your profit
Oh
margin,
my
your
God.
overhead. So that helps a lot. So that's how I do it. And then I also have like a little sheet where I keep track of how much ingredient costs like every month. I go to so many different stores for inventory. It's like Costco, Sam's Club, Restaurant Depot, and all of these stores are all different prices. So I kind of like keep track every time I go to see like, oh, this one went up, this one went down. So it's kind of like a gamble, but you kind of just have to, if you have time to go to different stores like I do it so that way I don't have to spend as
Yeah.
much versus spending like hundreds on eggs at one place.
You know so much, and I like you've said it a couple of times now where you're like, I recommend this to bakers, I do this for bakers.
Yeah.
Do you feel an obligation to share what you've learned throughout the years to the up and coming generation? Like, how does that work for you?
Yeah, so honestly, I feel like if I were just starting right now, I wish I would have had more resources back then because when I first started, like I've had like, friends like my old boss who has a bakery to like ask questions, but I feel like there wasn't much out there
Yeah.
specifically in the small business world and like pop-up bakeries. Like there's a lot of pop-up bakeries now that are just pop-up based, no storefront, no retail, none of that stuff. But then at the same time, it's like as much as like I want to share my knowledge, there's also some things that I cannot share. Like I get lots of Instagram comments. What's the recipe? Where do
Mm.
you get your jars? Where do you get this? And it's like, do you guys go up to other coffee shops and Starbucks and stuff and ask, oh, where do you get your syrup? Where do you get this? Like, do you pick their brain? No,
No,
right?
yeah.
So it's like knowledge knowledge based stuff, it's like, yes, I'd love to share, but when it comes to like my specific product and how I make it and what's in it and things like that, I'm a little iffy on sharing just because it's my business. If I would share my business and everything about it, then why would I be in business? You know
This
what I
is
mean?
this is like real shit and it's gonna get real uncomfortable for a little bit,
Yeah,
but I think it's gonna be an honest discussion.
I agree.
I feel that like
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Like I see like I mean, like I'm not gonna lie, like cake jars, like it's a plastic jar. It's not that hard to find online. When I started my business, everything was research based, and I just feel like a lot of people want the shortcut of starting a business like that and not doing any research on the business and where to get your supplies, like all of that stuff you need to do before you start. Like you need as a business owner to do your research on your own. And then, of course, like get help. But I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't take into consideration before they start is that you need to do your research.
I'm the
And
same.
not to be mean, but you need to do
No,
your research.
it's not being mean. And that's actually what it's kind of frustrating about that whole thing is
Hmm.
that because you're holding your boundary
Yeah.
and you know your worth,
Hmm.
you're like not villainized, but it's like, oh, she's mean or she's a gatekeeper.
Yeah.
That's not gatekeeping. It took me a lot of time to figure this out.
Right.
I want that's a part of your journey. Like, no, I'm not gonna respond to messages that ask me that
Right.
either.
And I think it's crazy because there's like a lot, like there's so many bakers on Instagram nowadays, but there are specific bakers that focus on helping like home bakers. So they would have like, oh, these are, the chocolate cookies I made. Here's the recipe, and they drop it. Here's where I got the packaging, the stickers. There are businesses that are like focused on helping bakers, which is great, but my business is not to help
You are the
other
baker.
bakers. I am the baker, exactly. So I can't just be like that resource to just give out everything. You get what I mean? So I think that's the difference that people need to realize. Like, oh, if you want to know so much about like where to get this and that, then you need to be going to the people who do that as a living.
So is that what you do? Do you say, hey, look, like I'm not gonna be able to help you with this, but I can refer you to some people that can?
Yeah, I mean, if I do
Yeah.
see the message, yeah, I do have a few guides that go over like basics on how to start a home bakery, but I'm very broad on like where to get your things because again, that's up to you to do
Yeah.
your research to find the needs for like your bakery. So I try to guide people if I can. But at the same time, I've gotten comments before. Someone I forgot, I don't know the name exactly. It was like last year, but in many of my videos, they kept asking the same question over and over and over again. And like I saw it, I did respond to it eventually when I saw it, but they were questioning like, where do you get your packaging? Blah, 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 blah. Like just totally like picking my brain and asking like very personal questions to my business. And I told her, oh, just look up so and so on the internet and many options will pop up because it's that simple. Um, so it's kind of just like and she got mad at me because she sent me a message too. She's like, you don't respond to any of my comments. It's like, girl, I'm running a business. I don't have time to hold your hand to look up cake jars online.
What
Like,
I've
come on.
what I've
It's like,
experienced
it's wild.
in this small business adventure of mine is there are 90% of the people in the community are extremely supportive. Like that 10%,
Yep. Oh
Jesus.
my God.
Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane. I can't, I mean, you've been here from the beginning and like
Hmm.
we've gotten pretty
Yeah.
close. Like you know most of the shit that happened.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like it's so unfortunate.
It is. Go for it.
So being in our first location
Mhm.
really forced me to think outside of the box. Like, okay, how are we going to make the community aware that we're here? Okay, I'm
Right.
going to start hosting these like workshops and things.
Right.
And if we started with like a tiny corner. I think it was a not even 12 foot. I think it was 10 feet by like 8 feet space in our first shop.
Hmm.
And that was my workshop space.
Yeah.
Super proud of it.
I love it.
So many people were talking shit. Guess what? We would
Hmm.
sell out every
Right.
time.
Yeah.
Like every time. Now, fast forward to this store, our events have gotten so much bigger.
They're huge
And
now.
like, it's so, like, when I
Yeah.
actually stop and think about it,
Yeah.
I can't even process. Like,
Right.
Sunday was the wellness event. I kind
Mhm.
of stood back in awe a little bit, like during the sound bath. I was like, oh my God, this is
I saw online. It
crazy.
was packed, wasn't it? Yeah.
And like, to put those events together, it's a lot of work
Mhm.
and it's a lot of thinking. Like, I don't
Yeah.
sleep well at night, probably like most of us small business owners, but I'm literally up. I'm always 90 days ahead. And I think like, okay, so the next season, like it's going to be fall. This is what I want
Yeah.
to do.
Right.
I want to have intentional events and I do it. You're already smiling
Yeah, I
because you
know
know what I'm
exactly
talking
what
about.
you're talking about.
Then I get on Instagram and it's like the same event. And I'm
Yeah.
like, listen, I I'm realistic, okay? So I really stop and think now where I'm like, is it worth the energy? And it's not, right? The answer is
No, it's
no.
no.
But
Mhm.
I am not going to ignore how I feel. I'm going to embrace it. There's a very fine line between being inspired
Mhm.
and
Straight up copying.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
let me
You
have my
have the
moment.
right to be
Yeah,
angry though.
like let me have my moment and I'll move on and I'll get over
Yeah.
it. But I'm not going to deny what's happening. And you have to remember that what you're doing is you and like no one can copy that.
Yeah. It's like so many people out there, I feel like no matter like what business industry you're in, there's always going to be people who want to like copy you and they might take your branding and your marketing and like all that stuff, which again, like it happens to me like quite a few times too. And like I get pissed about it. But I have to remember like at the end of the day, what makes our business unique is us. They're not us. We we all bring something different, I think, to our businesses. So I think that's what will make us all different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do feel on that
No, but like
straight up copying though.
I want to elaborate, like, don't
Mhm.
cancel me or us. I want to elaborate
Just think,
because it's not about the fact that there's another store that's doing
yeah.
events. That's not
Mhm.
the problem. I can't be mad at somebody for trying to bring foot traffic to their store because at the end
Right.
of the day, it's about the vendors in that specific market.
Yeah.
It's about the lack of originality.
Yes.
I take a lot of pride in my life's work.
Yeah.
And for me, like I'm not clocking in and out of someone else's business. Like this is
Right. This is
mine.
yours.
Like when you walk into local gem collective, I'm literally like offering a piece of me. Like
Mhm.
that's my
That's true.
store.
Yeah.
It's Dried Up is your business.
Yeah.
So when someone follows that closely, it's like, of course I'm gonna be offended.
Right.
It's like borderline disrespectful.
It is. And like I feel like that's the thing. It's like how you were saying, there's a huge difference between being inspired by another business and full on copying. Like just this past year I had someone there's so many people that do cake jars. Like
Yeah.
I don't own
Yeah.
people always ask the pop-ups, did you come up with the idea? No, I did not come up with the idea. Like I told you earlier, like that is as crazy as saying I invented the cupcake. Like who I don't even know who
Yeah.
invented a cupcake. Cake jars. They're just a very popular concept. Dessert in a jar. And I know there's many bakers specifically in Orange County that do cake jars. Like there's hundreds of home bakeries here. Like there's tons, right? But I know when people are straight up copying me, not because they're doing cake jars and sweets. That's not the
Get
problem.
right.
If you want to make cake jars, go for it. Like I support you because I'm also in this business. Like I want to support other bakers, but I cannot support another baker if they are straight on copying my graphics, my branding, my packaging word by word
That's insane.
from the seal of the sticker to the back of the ingredient label. I can't support that and I would never will. So when it gets to that level, I'm like, okay, that's straight up copying. That's not okay. And unfortunately, that happens all the time in the business world.
So it's not just
So
me.
it's not just, I feel like every business will
Yeah.
eventually experience it, especially if you grow a platform on social media. That's when it started for me, is when I started to see things that were similar to my branding. And like again, or like I said, it's not the cake jars and the baked goods that you're doing. It's the branding and how you represent like the business as a whole.
I think
Yeah.
I think it's okay to have these discussions.
Yeah, I agree.
And like the more that I'm doing these like wellness networking events, the more women that I'm meeting that have businesses,
Yeah,
this is something that comes up all the time, but it's always like a side conversation like, "Hey, have you ever experienced this?"
right.
And I'm like, "Yes, it's
Yeah,
okay to
to
talk
talk
about
about
it."
it.
Like
Like I deal with like I have a social media platform now, I would say that I grew over the last 2 years.
insane.
But thank you. Which again, I don't even know why I can't believe that many people follow me. I just laugh about it all the
You're like
time.
20,000, right?
Yeah, like almost 30. And I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, like, okay. Which I'm so thankful for. Like I really love that people, support my business. So I've noticed ever since growing a platform on social media is when I started to get a lot of people in my comments and my messages. Lots of people are really nice. Then there's a lot of people that spread hate, specifically on Facebook. You know, Facebook.
Because I don't have one.
Oh, you don't?
I
I feel
don't
like
have one.
people, Instagram and Facebook in general as a as a whole, ever since I started posting reels, I get hate comments and sometimes I just leave them, but sometimes if they're like really, really rude, I delete it because I was like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
And I don't want my customers to see that. Like, I just don't want negativity on my page. But it happens though, and I feel like a lot of it just comes from jealousy. And it's sad to see that even on Facebook, I had other like bakers commenting on my reels with like their baking pages. Like, I have a bakery and I wouldn't blah 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 do this. And it's like, girl, like you can't have that mindset when you have a business. It's just all, honestly, I feel like it's just all from jealousy. And like, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm all that. Like, no, like, I don't think like that of myself, but it's like, if you are showing that hate online, then it's kind of like, well, it's coming from somewhere.
So I have this reel that
Hmm.
I kind of gave up on. I was gonna post it, and then I didn't want to because I'm like, I don't want to, give it energy. I don't want to put
Yeah.
this out there. But I showed her some screenshots of messages from Instagram that I get from like random like people, mostly women, which is very unfortunate.
I know.
One of them was like literally, I don't know her. First message she's ever sent me, you're not even pretty. And all I put was like, do you feel better? Like, what's
Right.
wrong with you?
Right.
I always think about the thought process of what happened before you
Before
sent
they
me
said
this
that,
message.
right? Yeah.
You're probably sitting at home, you saw my post, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm gonna say this. Like,
Totally.
what's wrong with you?
Right. And I think it's all just straight up jealousy. Like I've gotten comments on my videos. I'll be posting day in the life, of a baker, a business owner. And I got a comment last year that kind of, I was a little I mean, I'm a Cancer, I'm sensitive. So if someone says something mean, I lately, like, I'm very good at brushing it off,
Yeah.
like, fuck that, like, whatever. But specifically, if someone commented something on my looks, it would kind of affect me. But I've had a comment one time where someone was like, oh, like, you should, like, lose some weight, blah, blah, blah. But, like, keep in mind, this is a video on a day in the life of having a bakery,
That's so
right? And it's just like, it's not just me that experiences that. Like, I know other bakers that I follow on social media that are like my Instagram friends, and one of them just recently shared the exact same thing last week in her Instagram story saying, yeah, I get like um shame comments on my body and stuff. It's like we're not even posting anything about it. Our accounts are not anything about weight loss and body stuff like that. We're here to just show our business growth and people like want to say stuff. And I feel like all of that is just anger from themselves. But like that's not my problem.
But
Like,
can you imagine if people walking the street would like act how they acted? Can you
yeah.
imagine if someone came up to me and said you're not even pretty? I'd be like, what's your problem?
Yeah,
They would never.
right.
No one
But
would
when they're
ever.
behind a screen, everyone goes
Yeah.
crazy behind the screen as if like,
Takeaway, say it to my face.
yeah, literally, like say it to my face. Like if you have something to say about my business, please say it to my face because like I know like just like you too, like we could feel energy from other business owners in the same industry whether it's online or in person, I could feel when someone is judging me from afar. And if you have something to say, say it. Because like really don't have anything bad to say about other business owners. I'm always trying to be supportive, even when I see people doing cake jars too. Like I would go up to their booth and try to be like, oh, I also have a cake jar business. What flavors do you offer? Not like, oh my God, that's a cake jar person. Ugh, I'm not gonna follow her. Like, I'm never gonna talk to her. I don't support her. She's copying. I'm like not like that. And I feel like maybe I was more like that when I first started my business
Yes.
because you have to learn as the years go by that like you can't compare yourself to other businesses like
Well,
no matter
like the first year was hard because I was really proud of what I did. But then,
shitty.
thank you. Then the opinion started, and that's when it got hard.
Yeah,
So, like, I think if I had any advice for someone that's starting,
yeah,
now that I'm on the other side of that journey, it's don't pay attention to anything anyone says because it doesn't matter.
it really
Now,
doesn't.
however, are you entitled to have your opinion? Absolutely. But like
Mhm.
really think about whether it's worth your energy or not.
Yeah, it's just
Because
noise.
I think I talked about this on another episode. I publicly outlashed once. And after I did it, I woke up and I'm like, why would I publicize this? Like I don't ever want to do this again. Like it was
Hmm.
a punk ass thought to be like, oh, let me air this
To
message
share
out,
it.
right?
Yeah,
And when I see those posts on Instagram today, there just has to be some tact as far as like the transparency with your customer.
yeah,
for example, like in retail, if the building's on fire and you
Hmm.
have like 15 call outs, the show must go on. Like
Yeah.
you get through the day, you figure
Right.
your customers don't need to know what's going on.
Right.
And I'm trying to find the balance in this world because I do feel like um, especially local gem collective, I do feel like our page should be like a positive outlet. Like if
Yeah.
you want to come experience like a great environment and like good vibes,
Hmm.
like you should be able to come here without the heaviness of my personal
Right.
experience.
Exactly.
Oh
I
my
feel
God.
like, I feel like it's just, it kind of depends. Like when things like that, like when I see hate comments or if I see like a business like full on copy me, on my business page, like I would never directly call someone out because I just think that's so unprofessional. But if it gets to the point where I'm getting like a lot of it, I will discuss something like on my stories or my feed, but in like a respectful way. So not naming
Yeah.
anyone and just being like, I stand pride in my business. I don't tolerate this, and that. But yeah, I see what you mean on how like you post something and then you kind of think like, wait, why did I put my energy towards that? Because I could honestly like with all these haters and stuff, I don't even have to acknowledge it. Like I could just like be like whatever. Which I'm starting to do now, and I'm pretty proud of myself for doing that because before like last year, I'd say around this time when I started to get more viral videos, I used to read every single comment and there'd be like hundreds of comments on these viral videos of like, oh, like about everything, about my business, the pricing, what it looks like. Oh, it looks horrible. It looks dry. Like, and it used to affect me. And now it's like someone says something and I'm just like, screw off. Like,
Well, as someone that sells your cake jars, the
yeah,
feedback in the store, like you have people coming just for you. Like, yes, do we
and it's
have
a good feeling.
our own like clout, I guess? Yes, but
Of
you have
course.
people that are like coming into my store just for you. So
Yeah.
that should
And
make
I'm
you
so glad to
feel
hear.
amazing.
Yes, I love that. And like, I love my customers, like my customers who are so loyal. Like, I have people coming to my markets every single week, even if it's on a monthly basis or just once in a while. Like, I appreciate it and I recognize them because when someone like comes specifically for like my product at the market, it means that they trust me, they
Hmm.
trust my business, and they fully support it for them to like keep showing up. So I'm like so grateful, for all the customers, even the followers. I have followers that never like came to like a pop-up or anything because they're from afar, but there's been following me since I barely had any followers to now. So it's like the support online too, like means a lot for any business.
I feel like all you ever do is grind. Seriously,
I
like
try.
every time I talk to you, every time I go on Instagram, like you're at a market, you're setting up, you're taking down,
Yeah.
rinse and repeat, like
Yeah.
every weekend.
Yeah. And might be on starting on Wednesdays.
So, like, what do you do for fun? Like, when is your fun time?
That's hard part. So, as you know, it's hard to find time just to have a full day off, which I'm starting to work on because this is my busiest year so far yet. It's only
Cheers.
been 3 months and I'm on track to do way better than the last 2 years, which is great. But that means I'm going to be more busy in the kitchen. That
Yeah.
means more pop-ups. So it's hard to have time for myself, but I'm really focused right now on having one day, which is going to be Sundays now, just
Yes.
one day out of the week to have some time off because I really need it. Like, I get stressed very easily, and I just need one day where I'm not touching the oven, one day where I'm not checking my emails just to like let my brain relax because I just had a burnout. I just got out of a burnout like 2, 3 weeks ago. My first burnout at the beginning of the year, which is crazy. I think that was way too early to have a burnout. In my mindset, I was really thinking about quitting at late at night. I was on Indeed looking at jobs. Like I was not there, and like I was doing bad at markets. And then when my energy is bad, I'm just quiet at markets and I don't want to sell to anyone. And so it affected my sales. So I finally got out of it after I rested for 2 to 3 days.
You
So
deserve that.
thank you. And I think that's what I just need to rest more and have more time on my own. So that's why I'm making it like this Sunday is my first Sunday completely off. No market. I'm not gonna touch maybe like Instagram reel, just like one post.
Just
But
schedule
like,
it.
yeah, I'll schedule it. I don't want to do anything anymore on that one day because I'm getting so busy and I have part-time employees, thank God now that can help me sell and be in the kitchen. But I don't know. I feel like when you're a business owner, we're like meant to just grind, no matter how tired we may be. It's just always like go, 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 which is a blessing, but then it's also like physically and mentally
No,
exhausting.
it's insane. Like
Yeah.
I it's hard to explain, but like I went from working like 11 to 12-hour days
Yeah.
to working
Yeah.
10 to 5:30. But that those hours that I'm here, I'm like maximizing my time because I'm so committed to my personal time. Like when I get home, um, I take a shower, make dinner, and that's like my family time.
Nice. Yeah.
Sometimes work leaks in where I need to
Yeah.
respond to something, but for the most part, I'm pretty set on like, no, like do not text me. That's why I don't give my phone
Yeah.
number out. I
Yeah.
think I spent
Yeah.
so much of my life doing that. I'm just super committed to like, no, no, sorry.
Yeah.
If it's about business, it could wait till tomorrow when I'm back.
Yeah, and that's what I need to practice on because my problem, or like a typical day, like for example, if I go in the mornings, like if I go to the kitchen in the afternoon, in the mornings, I'm doing something already at home on my computer, like maybe making graphics and stuff like that. Then I go to the kitchen and then I come back home and I'm still doing stuff around dinner time. And then it gets to the point where it's like 8, 9 o'clock. I'm eating, but also still doing stuff. And then I shower. After I get out of shower, close out my phone, editing Instagram. So it's just always something that needs to be done. And that's on me. I just need to plan better. So that way at a certain time, which I am working on to just cut off business, it can wait till tomorrow. Kind
Shut
of
it
like
down.
how businesses have business hours, right? After 5, done. Like I'm a ghost. Like don't even bother me. Don't talk to me. And I do, that's like my goal this year is to turn it off after a certain time. No matter how much it needs to be done, just let it be because there's tomorrow. It's just a part of me is always like, no, I have to finish all of this like today before I go to bed, as like bed is my reward. But I'm like, but like sleeping shouldn't be my reward.
Yeah.
Like that should be part of my regular routine. And then, yeah, it's just all mindset
Well,
that
I
I need
think
to adjust.
it's hard for you too because there are so many bakers out there. You probably feel this pressure of like, if I don't respond right now, they're just gonna message someone else.
Yeah, especially with like custom
Yeah.
orders, because it is like the baking world, it is a very competitive industry. So I am like that. Like I had a reel like last month go viral of me in the Disney tram line editing on Canva. And it's just funny because a lot of business owners can relate to that. Like we'll be at the most random areas on our phones. Like I could be on the tram at Disneyland responding to an
Mood.
email, like, but it's like, as funny as it may sound, it's like something that is not technically healthy,
It's not.
for business owners to be doing, which I am learning. It's hard, I be at Disneyland like all the time and like I get a notification, I email, oh, it's a customer. Guess what I'm doing? I'm pulling out my phone in front of my boyfriend. I feel so bad. But like I'm like responding really quickly and then I put it away. But like I need to just like, oh, I see it. Oh well, it's after this time. I could do it tomorrow.
You guys are
So
like goals. You've been together for a minute. He's always at
thank
your pop-ups from what
I
I
love he's so
see.
supportive.
He's
He's the
so
best.
kind.
He
Like
really
he's very
is.
kind.
Super supportive. We're hitting 5 years
Oh,
next
congrats.
month. Thank you. So he's really been there pretty much since like my very, very first pop-up. Like he's been there. He saw the vision even when no one else did. So I
Ugh,
love him. He's the
I
best.
got goosebumps.
He's
Seriously.
so supportive. Like he comes to my markets even when like a lot of times he just comes just to give me like company, but he's just there like for support. Whether I do bad, whether I do good, he's just there. I love him. So that's how every partner should be,
For sure.
If they have their partner, no matter what it is, just for their job, their life, their business, like they should just be there no matter what happens. So,
There's no way that I'd be able to do this without Anthony. Like there's
yeah.
no way.
Exactly. That's how I view it, like with Nick. Like I can't, you need that support system. Even like my family, like my family have all been there since the very beginning. Since I used to sell like massive cake jars, like huge. They look like candles.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm very serious. Like back in 2021 when I used to do mason jars and then there was a mason jar shortage in 2020.
Oh
So then I
shit.
pivoted to these like jars. I don't know what the hell I was doing. They were kind of ugly, but like big jars. Now that I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, people bought that. But like even when like I had nothing, like my family would come to all my pop-ups. They still do come to my pop-ups, just to show support. And they like to support other small businesses too. So it's like, yeah, I'm glad for the support system.
I feel
I
like
can't do it
your
without
sister's
everyone.
been there since the beginning of
My
mine too,
sister
because she
too.
sang at the
Yeah,
family
yeah,
night.
exactly. My sister's always doing the pop-ups. I love her. She knows that, but I
She's
hate her because she's my sister.
stop. Okay, who's older?
She is.
She's older?
Yeah, by 3 years.
Every time I go to Disneyland, I'm like, am I gonna see her today?
I know
I
she's
don't know.
always walking around, a lot of times teaching like classes and stuff. But yeah, she's been there for with my business like since the beginning too.
I
I
love
used
that.
to force her to sticker everything when I would bake everything at home. I mean, not force. I guess it's kind of volunteer work, but it's also like working with no pay.
If you ever need a tester, you can come find me.
Of course. Yeah,
I feel like your branding is a big piece of your success too.
it is. I think branding is a huge part of any business success, honestly. Like I had, for example, I used to have like an older logo.
Hmm.
You know, like I have, it's like it's the one with like the little floral at the
Hmm.
top. That's my old logo that I got from someone who made me in college. And then I like learned over the years, I was like, that doesn't really like fit my business. And so I rebranded, hired a graphic designer, shout out Roxanne. She's from Canada and I
That's
just
nice.
she does like all sorts of graphic designs, you know. And I hired her and I ever since then that's when I fully rebranded everything. And I think it has helped a lot, like overall, like not just with like sales, but like my booth is more eye-catching. The logo matches the product more. It ties together my website, like all sorts of stuff. So I think branding is like huge when it comes to a business.
It is. I get a lot of, especially through like the small business lever channel, a
Yeah,
lot of businesses reaching out like, what do you think I can do better? And like, I know social media is not everything, but it's a
yeah.
big piece of it.
It's
Like, it's
huge.
free advertising.
It really
So
is.
I feel like if the socials are not that great, there's no real logo that
Yeah.
stands out. I feel like a lot of people struggle to figure out what their brand actually is
Mm.
because I think most follow what's trendy, and that's fine.
Yeah.
I chased trends when I first opened my Etsy.
Yeah.
I think that's a phase that we all go through.
Yeah.
But I think most find that the success comes when you're really authentic and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, this is who I am, and I'm gonna build a brand around that.
Right. And everyone's doing the Dubai like chocolate bar, right? Which is fine, it's a trend. But what is a trend? It trends for a moment and then it dies, right? So I include that Dubai flavor into a brownie jar, right? And then after a while, then it goes away.
That's the difference, is like yours is founded on the cake jars and you're
Hmm.
doing it right. Where like if Wicked becomes a thing,
Yeah.
the pistachio thing, like
Yeah.
you're gonna incorporate that, like you said, and then it goes
Yeah.
away and it's the next one. But the
Right.
foundation of your business is never gonna
Yeah,
change.
exactly. Yeah.
I got a message once that said, you're paying your rent with your vendors' fees. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm not gonna deny that because it's true.
Yeah. I mean, we're all pitching
But
in,
that's
but
not something that I hide.
right.
Yeah, there is a display fee to be in the store.
Yeah, of
But
course.
in turn, what you're gonna get
Yeah.
is, I think what I offer is way more than what like an urban market offered.
Hell yeah, are you kidding?
That's a totally different experience.
Because the thing is, so it's like we pay, like I pay my space to have my spot there. But what people don't realize compared to like urban market, right? I felt like there I was just paying my space to be there and that's it. The owner did nothing whatsoever to expose any of our businesses to the city. Versus you, it's like, yeah, we pay you our rent. Of course we would. That's how we're there, right? It's like a given obvious. But it's up to you. You don't have to do the weekend events. You don't have to do social media. You don't have to promote us on your feed and your stories if you didn't want to, right? So it's like people need to acknowledge that like in order for us to get exposure to, yeah, it's our own like social medias, but like the owner, like you have to do so much behind the scenes and people don't see that
I'm gonna
because they
cry.
just think they just think that we're just, you know, paying there and then oh, it's up to you guys. It's like no, like I've gotten new customers off of you posting and sharing my stuff. So like that's not how it works. Like yes, a collective, of course, we pay to be there. Thank you. Like so obvious,
Yeah, I
right?
was just like, am I supposed to say I like
Like
deny this? Like, no.
like, I don't get what about it? Like, yeah, that's true, but like, so,
And like to your point though, I think that's why I work so hard because I do
mhm,
know that,
yeah,
like, yeah, I do have 50 vendors. I
mhm,
don't chase a number, but we just happen to get to 50. We're
yeah,
at 54 right now.
right.
But for me, that's like 54 people that I'm in charge of. Like, not necessarily from like a hierarchy perspective, but
No,
from
but I
a
get what you mean.
responsibility
Yeah,
perspective where I'm like, okay, I take it personal, like if a
mhm,
vendor's not doing well. I don't have to move shit around either, but I'm like,
no,
okay,
yeah,
like, does this make sense? Do the adjacencies in the store
try to
support
like pivot it.
sales? Like, Like, is this
Yeah.
corner flowing?
Right.
That's why I'm constantly moving things. It's
Yeah.
not for the benefit of my back. It's to try to
Yeah.
increase sales.
Right.
Obviously for the store, but more so because I want retention.
Hmm.
I don't want to keep chasing vendors. I don't want to
Yeah.
rinse and repeat a setup. Like, and I think from a customer perspective, like the split should be probably 60-40, 60 stay,
Hmm.
40 go.
Hmm.
That way it's always fresh every
Yeah.
3 months, like seasonality wise.
Hmm.
But I feel like there's this perception out there that like, and I still get self-conscious about it. Like if someone leaves, I'm like, oh my God, I failed them. But
No.
not everyone can make it.
Yeah. I honestly like when you join a collective, yes, it's the owner's like your responsibility, of course, to help promote us, but people also have to keep in mind when it's your business that you're putting into collective, like I am fully responsible, I feel like, for how my business does, no matter how much you promote me or not. Because I feel like for me, I know I slacked off with promoting my fridge this month compared to last month, and it showed in my sales. But I know that was on me because you are posting so much about this, like you're constantly there, right? So I feel like people, when they leave, like I wouldn't say like, oh, it's my fault. Maybe it just didn't work out for them, or maybe they just need to work more on their brand awareness because we can't rely on you to bring in customers. It's also half on us too.
I think about that a
Yeah,
lot.
any vendor.
I
So,
think about that where I'm like, okay, if something didn't work, if this one business failed in the store, was it was it shopability? Probably not
mhm.
because the setups are pretty clean.
Yeah,
Was it the price? Maybe. Like if
maybe.
something's like $75,
Yeah, it could be.
you know,
Pricing always goes left or right for people.
there's all these avenues. Is it brand
Yeah.
awareness, like you said? Maybe it's the demographic.
Yep,
Like
that's a
maybe
huge one.
like, and I think
Yeah.
that's okay.
Mhm.
What I'm finding is that there's a lot of, or not enough, responsibility taken
Yeah.
on the business side of it. And I
Yeah.
think it's easy to point a finger at someone else.
It is. And
But
I always tell, I was just talking to my business, I call them my frienders,
oh, I love
my friend vendors at markets. A lot of the times we do pop-ups in places where there's other storefronts. And I won't specifically say names just for privacy purposes, but sometimes owners, business owners would blame other businesses for their low sales. Even though our products are completely different, we're not even in the same industry. Like one's a bakery and one sells food, right? For example. But it's like you can't blame another business for your sales. Like you have to be fully responsible for your business. Like for me, I just left. I used to have a farmer's market on Sundays in Garden Grove. I just pulled it. And I was there for probably like 5 months. I tried very hard selling at this market, promoting it on social media. Nothing was working for me, and that's fine because like not every market's gonna work. But for me, it was mainly just the demographic
yeah.
was just not, they're not my top clients. And so I pivoted by finding a market on Saturdays that did have my demographic, and I'm doing like well there. So it's like I feel like we can't point fingers because at the same time you have to be able to look at your business and be like, okay, why is this not working before I point a finger? And
Yeah.
even if then you shouldn't be pointing a finger. You should be pointing a finger to yourself.
In words.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, this blew my mind right now. I was like in awe looking at you because I'm going to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm shook. I'm going to talk about this at the Snacks and Yap
Okay.
session.
Yeah.
A lot of the struggles that I went through in the first year of being in the store,
Mm,
uh, I was blaming other people.
yeah. I feel
Like,
like a lot of us do that at the beginning.
and it's almost
But
like you have to hit a certain low to like
mhm.
realize, you know what, fuck this. I don't want to feel this way anymore,
Yeah.
or I don't want to do this anymore. You have to like dig your way out of it. But I feel like on the other end of that, if you're able to pull yourself out of it, is like the enlightenment. Like nothing's changed other than my address, but I feel so much better.
Yeah.
Obviously, because business is better in this location, but
Mhm.
in reality, nothing really changed other than like the scenery.
Right. And that's like a thing that you notice that you pivoted because you're like, oh, how can I make the sales and the location better? Like for me, like as you know, I've been adjusting my recipes. So I'm trying to figure out, oh, maybe why do people buy one cake jar and then never come back? What could it be? So I
Hmm.
look at, oh, maybe it's pricing. Maybe it's something with the texture. So like I ended up finding, the reason behind it. So I think a lot of people, they are so, what's the word?
Sensitive.
Sensitive or like just high ego, like, oh, kind of like everything about my business is like perfect. I don't need to
Oh yeah.
change it. And if no one likes it, then that's on them. But then you kind of have to, well, like if no one's coming back, what does that tell you?
Yeah, when
Right?
your
That's
customers,
what I had to learn.
you listen.
Yeah. And I've had customers, all my customers that have ever brought up anything to me, like, oh, I think you need to do like fix this, have brought it up in a super kind way. And as much as it's like sad to hear that someone didn't like it, but you have to be able to like take in the feedback and fix it. Don't take it, cry it, and then just leave it. Like you have to be willing to like adjust things with
Yeah,
your business.
feedback is
And it's
so
hard. It's so
important.
hard when someone says they don't like it, whether it's to your face in email, it's hard. And like I had to learn like I'm not gonna please everyone, and that's okay. But if it's just like something like tweaks and stuff that you could fix to like improve your product, then why not take the feedback and like actually do it,
I was
you
talking
know?
to I won't say his name, but someone that's helped me a ton, like
Hmm.
in the last year with my business, and super great guy, right? Like just awesome human. But like I had received feedback.
Yeah.
And I'm such a bad liar. Like if I ever tried, you would know because I'd be fucking super awkward and
Me.
I would just be like grinning the whole time, like, well, I kind of have a secret. So I've just learned, like, you know what, just give it, dish it.
Mhm.
And I remember like after telling him, he was really grateful for it. And that's when I
Uh-huh.
knew I'm like, okay, he's like in it for the long run because he's
Yeah.
receptive. There's no ego in this for him.
Right.
Because it was really rough feedback, like
Mhm.
really rough
Okay.
feedback. But I knew it would help him grow in his acquisition of clients. Like it
Yeah.
would just help him pivot his approach.
Yeah.
And he was grateful for it. He sent me this video later that was like, look, like if you can't take feedback, like why are you even in it?
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard to hear, especially if
Yeah.
you're sensitive. Like I'm a sensitive person. So when someone says like, "Oh, I didn't like it," this and that, like, yeah, it hurts my feelings, but then now that like I'm in business, I look at it as like, okay, someone was, kind enough and brave enough to tell me about this because who would have known? Like maybe there was 20 people that thought the exact same thing and they never returned, but instead this one customer decided to come to me to tell me and continue to try my products. So it's like that's gonna help make a difference in the long run,
What's
you
the
know?
weirdest thing someone's said to you at a pop-up?
At a pop-up,
Yeah,
oh
like the
my
wildest thing.
Let me think about it. People say like the stupidest thing. Like, sorry, people, but like people are stupid. Specific. Oh my God. I need to look back at one of my reels. I used to do like a series where it's like things that people said to me at a pop-up today.
We can go
Oh
back
my
to
God.
that.
Yeah,
But
let me think of,
I
there's
always
so
ask
many things.
because people are strange. And like when you're with that many people in one
Yeah,
spot, like something weird's about to happen.
right. Well, a lot of the times I do get a good amount of people. This one's not weird, it's just like common. They're like, "Oh, were you the one on Shark Tank?" Because there was like I didn't know there was a company that did cake jars that went on Shark Tank like years ago.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it was like 2010, like quite a while ago that went on there. They're the first to be known to like get famous for like making cake in a jar. And I'm like, oh no. It's just like awkward. Like people are like, oh, is that you? And I'm like, no. But I guess one funny thing, people are like, what's a cake jar? They're like, what do you do? Just eat
Just
it?
it, yeah.
It's like, no. Like what? They're like, what is a cake jar? And I look at them like, cake in a
Is
jar.
that why you put cake in a jar
Yes.
on
On
your
the
thing?
I have like a sign that at my pop-ups that says what is a cake jar and it's like a picture of a jar and it points frosting, topping, cake because people go up to me and they're like, "Oh, these are edible?" I was like, "Where does it say that it's like a candle
I blame the
or a
people
scrub?"
that are making candles that look like cake.
Right. And they're super cute.
Um, that's another thing I think that I've in the last like year that I've gotten so comfortable, and it took a long time, but I've gotten so comfortable just saying no. Like,
Yeah.
no, I
Yeah.
don't want to do that.
Same.
Or like, no, I don't think this is a good fit.
Yeah, I used to be like I was always like saying yes to people. Specifically when I used to do like custom cakes. I used to do like the full shebang custom cakes, cupcakes and stuff. So glad I'm not doing it anymore. I don't miss it at all. But there'd be like designs where like I'd be like, no, it doesn't really fit my branding, but I say yes to. And
Yeah.
then when I'm in the process of making the decor, I was like, I regret taking this order. It's like you just something you have to learn. It's okay to say no. And a lot
What's
of people don't know that.
like what's next for you in your business? Because you just got your commercial kitchen.
Yeah, I'm in a commercial kitchen now, a shared kitchen. Um, I really, really want, okay, next step, I'm gonna get a company vehicle, that's for sure.
I love
Just like to have, I'm tired of using my personal car. So that's something like not too crazy, just another, expense to have. End goal for me, I've always wanted to have some sort of mini storefront. It's hard right now, in this economy. As you know, as a storefront owner, it's not cheap in where we live. I don't know when that would happen. It's kind of hard to guideline when that would be. But if not that, I really do want a dessert truck. I want to go mobile somehow. But first things first, company vehicle, and then we're gonna start doing more pop-ups in one day, so like double events. So that is going to be starting actually next month. We'll be having two pop-ups like every weekend at the same exact time in two
nice.
different locations. So that way it's double market, double income. So I want to start pretty much adding more markets than I already am before looking in that direction. Because a lot of people think food trucks are cheap. They are not cheap. Like I did my quote, I'm like over 100K to get what I want.
You
That's
should
a lot of money
you
just for a
should
truck. There's just a lot to like think about. And I know I'll eventually get there. But then at the same time, I love the pop-up canopy route because it's like you set it up, you break it down, it only costs you what, like no more than 150 bucks to be there versus putting like thousands and thousands of dollars into a mobile vehicle. And a lot of times I hear it's hard to find spots for your truck and stuff because you have to get separate permits and things to be on the street. So there's just a lot that goes into it. But overall, I'm just focused on spreading out to more pop-ups in different cities that I've never been to and doing like maybe some festivals or something like that first.
I feel
So
like you I don't know, there's all these collabs going on and like
yeah,
I love to see it. Like when I
yeah,
see vendors link up that were like founded in local gem collective,
yeah,
I think it's so cool. Like that
yeah.
happened because we opened. I
Mhm.
think it's amazing. Since the day I met you, you were a professional and I really appreciated that.
Thank you.
Um, you just handle business, man, and like you're
Yeah.
like rare. You're like a unicorn. I think you're gonna accomplish whatever you decide to do because
Thank you. You too.
you're just that way.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to open an antique store, coffee shop, bookstore. Like,
Yeah.
I want, I don't know, the more that I'm in, like, you know that I shop antique stores and
Yeah.
that's where I
Yeah.
find all the
Yeah.
things. I feel like I want to scale. I would never close this location. It
Yeah.
means way too much to me. Like, I love it so much. But I definitely think if I scaled, it would be a totally different concept. I have this fear that in a few years, like things like antique stores and stores like mine, like I'm just like I feel like they're on the cusp of like being gone.
Okay.
And it's scary. And I don't know if it's like doomy like to think that way, but I feel
Yeah.
like we're like on the cusp of that right now where it's like I mean, we're doing fine, but I
Mhm.
see so many businesses closing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would never want that'd be like such a
Right.
sad day where there's no antique stores because they couldn't afford
Right.
the rent.
I know. Like I've known I not personally know, but like I follow on Instagram. I've known at least three bakeries in the OC and San Diego area that closed in January just because their rent was too high. But they were always so busy. At least from what you can see on social media, they're selling out every day and they had to pivot to just markets. And so that's what scares me on like taking that next step is because like I feel like storefront bakeries are dying down. Because if you think about it, there's not that many bakeries in Orange County. No matter the thousands of bakers that are here, there are very, very few. Like I can't even name a bakery here in Orange. Like I don't even know anymore. Like they're all closing. There used to be one in Old Town that I think that did like donuts and cakes, like
Oh,
cupcakes and stuff like 5 years ago. I don't even think they're there anymore. So it's like I know what you mean. Like it's discouraging for me to see these bakeries close because I'm like, oh, these people can't like keep up with it. And it's like, would I, But I think if you continue to, put in the work every single day, spread brand awareness, marketing, having vendors on top of like our shit, and I feel like you'd be just fine because people love that stuff. Antique stores, collectives, like we need to keep it alive because what else? Like I hate that malls are dying down. Like why? I don't want to
I
online
know.
shop. I want to go to the store and try on my clothes. So like it's kind of up to the consumers to keep it alive, in a way.
I love that false, not false, but like that sense of like we do have a responsibility
Yeah,
to,
we do. We
yeah.
can't blame, like, I know, like, Amazon is such a big, big company. Like, unfortunately, like, none of us could really compare ourselves to Amazon, of course, but like, if we have collectives, like here in Old Town Orange, your collective, it's up, to the vendors and the city and customers to support this business, to stay in business. But then it's also up to you to keep your business, like, up to date with everything and making sure,
That's where I
it's
feel
all
lucky
good.
that we're here. I feel like Orange is like when I was opening, for me it was like Orange or nothing because
Hmm.
it's been such a prominent place in my
Yeah.
life between like my mom loving antiques and all the things.
Hmm.
And the community here is very supportive. Like
Hmm.
they
That's
love
what I
it.
see. Yeah.
So supportive. Like I hear it all the time, especially on the weekends like is foot traffic good? Because we want to make sure you stay here. We want to keep you here. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that means so much. That's like the
That's
best
great.
compliment.
Yeah.
Because I was looking in Fullerton, I was looking in
Yeah.
Anaheim, and I'm
Hmm.
like, as much as I would have loved to be in Anaheim because I live there,
Yeah.
there's just no place like
There's,
Orange.
yeah. I like Old Town Orange, I feel like has that specific vibe,
Hmm.
Because like there's so many, like, I hope there's still antique stores in the
Yes.
Circle
Yeah.
area, right? So I think it just fits like overall. And plus it's a great location. You're super visible by the street too, which helps a lot. So I think it's like the most perfect spot
You know
for
what's
the
funny?
business.
So first it was, and I'm talking about that 10%. First it was, she's upstairs, she's never gonna make it.
Uh-huh.
Then we made it, and
Yeah.
then we moved, and now it's like, but it's turquoise. I'm like, you guys are
My
never
gosh.
gonna be,
No,
like,
that's the
I'm
thing.
never gonna win.
We can never please
Yeah.
everyone. It's like, oh, you want to paint it here, you go paint it. Like, it's just people that are upset. So if you're like hating on us for starting businesses, like, you could still start a business part-time
Yeah.
and do something that you want to do versus hating or judging others
I think it's
that
so
are in
weird.
business.
It's like so weird to walk into the store to be a hater. Like to
I
go be,
know.
you're like intentionally driving somewhere to go do
Right.
something with bad intention.
Right.
Like, I think it's normal to like go look at other collectives. I go to them all
No,
the time.
yeah.
On was it Tuesday? Tuesday.
Mhm.
No, Wednesday.
Okay.
Wednesday,
Yeah.
I went to King Richard's, got some furniture. Love that place.
Yeah.
And then I went to Port LeBain, and Port
Okay.
LeBain has been around, from what I'm gathering, for over like 10, 15 years in Uptown
Wow.
Whittier, and I've never been. But I keep hearing about it, like,
Mhm.
oh, Port LeBain, Port LeBain. So I'm like, I'm gonna go check it out. So I walk in, dude, so charming. It
Yeah.
smelled amazing. They have like a salt bath bar on the left. There's all this apothecary, and like you could tell there's like a ton of people in there. But it's a totally different vibe of the store. It reminded me of our first location, and I was
Okay.
just like, I love this so much. I bought some posters, talked to the guy
Yeah.
at the counter, like his mom ended up being the owner. Just a really
Nice.
good conversation. I
Yeah.
introduced myself. I thought it would have been weird to not introduce myself,
Mhm.
and like compliment how much I love the store because
Yeah.
I know if someone walked into my store, I'd want
And
that
that's not
same energy.
exactly, yeah.
And he was telling me, and it kind of validated my thought. He had the same experiences
Mhm.
with his store, and I'm like, we need to talk about this. Like, why is this a
Yeah.
thing? Like, let's like stop the bullshit. I don't know. The more I talk, like I said, the more I talk to you guys, I'm
Yeah.
like, no, it's normal. It happened to
It's
me.
so
Like,
normal.
we just have to
And it's
rise above
sad.
that. It's so
It's so
sad.
sad because you would think like if I see something that inspires me, like I'm gonna obviously not copy it because I don't like people who copy me, but like do something about it. Like if you're having to hate on someone for them doing what they want to do, it's like why sit there and be miserable when you could do something like that too?
What's crazy are the ones that are like mean in real life, and then like you kind of come up a little bit, and now they're in the comments like, "Oh my God, I love it so
I
much. Oh
know.
my God, your store's so cute." Like,
Yeah,
you not remember what you said about me?
yeah. Or like people who
Still,
like it's hard for a lot of people to like see our vision at the very
yeah.
beginning. Because yeah, when you start a business and you're telling it to people, they think we're fucking crazy. Like they're probably like, yeah, that's not gonna work. But then like they have to wait to see you succeed, then say like, oh my gosh, girl, you're killing it out there. And I'm like, oh
Yeah, no, I needed that
yeah,
encouragement a year ago.
right.
What did you ever have any doubt in joining? Like when you first came to the
To
store?
you,
Yeah.
the only doubt that I had, well, I don't even remember how I found you. Someone posted it. But the only doubt that I had going in was not the store, it was you because I didn't know you
Mm.
because of the trauma from Urban Market. That was my only doubt. But other than that, I was like, why not try it? It's 10 minutes from home because I live right by Angel Stadium. It's right here. My fridge fits perfectly.
Mhm.
That other store just ended. Perfect sign to start something else. But that was my only doubt because I didn't personally know you yet. I just kind of met you and signed up. But I'm so glad I did. It's just trauma from like, past experience, but
Well,
yeah.
what's hard, and in the larger scheme of things, I think
Mhm.
that the silver lining with that whole thing
Yeah.
that happened, like I said, the open market was my first experience,
Yeah.
and it was what I remember is that I'm like, okay, this is really, really well operated. Like
Yeah.
they're never late on payments. I've never had any issues. It was a
Yeah.
very
It
professional
looks really professional.
environment.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I was in and out, never had any hiccups. So I just assumed, because that was my only experience, that they were all like that.
Yeah.
What I learned at the urban market was like, oh my God, I can kind of kill
Right.
it. And the vendors that got burned there, it sucks because there is
Yeah.
this jaded, kind of like there was like a jaded era where people were like, I'm not joining another collective.
Right. And that's kind of what my mindset was when I left that one. I was like, oh, these people are just in it to take our money and just like screw you guys, right? So that's why I was iffy on joining another collective because when I brought my fridge home from the mall, I was like, I made it a snack fridge. Like, I was like, I don't think I'm going to do it. But then I saw someone post, I forget who, but someone posted, you're like, oh, looking for vendors. And I was like, oh, let me go check it out. But yeah, it's just hard because not every collective, of course, is going to be like that. But as that being my first experience,
Yeah.
that
Oh
was
my God.
so scary to join another one.
Yeah, I can't even
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah. So, but I'm glad it worked out though. I go to that mall, sometimes because my favorite jewelry shop is there, Lulu's, for like earrings and stuff. So I pass by the spot all the time, and now it's some like baby store,
That's
but
interesting.
it doesn't look
That mall's
like
weird.
it's like
It's weird that like
yeah,
that's in a mall, period. I remember the malls being
yeah.
like big brands.
Right. And I mean, that mall, it was already dead when I joined, but somehow I was making money
Me too.
somehow. So it wasn't that bad when he first started, but then they like stopped doing social media posts and like there's no traffic flow in that mall, so that's why it was hard to get people to come. But I don't know. That owner just screwed everyone, and I pray that this owner is not doing another collective ever again. Like I say that in kind words, unless they learn what they did to people,
I doubt it.
because that is so
I doubt
messed
it.
up. Let me go turn that off.
Well,
Okay.
we're at 115.
Oh, we are? Okay.
So, I mean, that was a really good
Yes.
episode. Thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
We talked about a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
we really did. And I think there's a lot of, I could go on for days just talking about business, but I feel like everything we said was like so important. And
cheers,
yes,
girl.
thank you for having me.
Yes.
I loved it.
Cut. It was
I
like
wish
fast,
sorry,
huh?
let me turn, yeah. I wish not wish. Like, I'd love to drop names, but I'm not gonna.
No, me either. I know, me either.
But like, you know who